Shalom, y'all fam. Sister Mishon here, and I'm here to talk to you today about forgiveness and how I had to forgive someone in my life, and it took some time, but I was able to forgive, and I just want to share that with you today. So when I was very young, when I was a baby actually, my mother and father, they divorced. And growing up till I was about 9, I didn't know who my father was. I never saw him. I didn't know what he looked like, sound like, anything like that. So when I turned 9, I got the opportunity to meet him and spend a weekend with him. And I had an amazing time with him. And, he made a lot of promises to me, and one of the biggest ones that I can remember that I held dear to my heart was that he would always stay in contact with me, and that it wouldn't be like it was the first 9 years of my life. And, being 9 years old, you believe your father, right? So went on with life, and, fast forward to when I was 15, I found myself sitting at his funeral. He passed away right around my 15th birthday, actually. And so sitting there at his funeral, I had a lot of mixed emotions going on. I mean, everything from sadness to anger to confusion. It was just a lot to take in. Obviously the sadness and the anger really came in from him not ever keeping any of his promises from when I was 9 to I was 15. It was the same, thing. No contact, no birthday cards, no acknowledgement of me. So I had a lot of that, dealing with that, sitting at his funeral, my anger fueled because I had a lot of people come up to my brother and I, and they talked about how he loved us and how he talked about us and how he was so proud of us. And for me, I was just like, how? You never existed in my world, you know what I mean? So just a confusing time, and I found myself dealing with a lot of bitterness, anger, and didn't realize at the time, but very unforgiving of him and his actions and what he did, not keeping his word to me. So from about 15 to 19, I struggled with all those mixed emotions. And, when people looked at me, they wouldn't look at me and see that I was an angry person, because I kept it all inside. I was an undercover angry person. And I began to discover that because I would let things build up, and I became like a ticking time bomb. And there would be times where I would just explode and not understand why, because pressure build up. Eventually, that pressure has to come out, right? So when I was about 19, Yahweh began to reveal to me that of why I was so angry. He began to have me work on myself and my unforgiveness, and I realized it was it was based on my father. All this anger and unforgiveness was coming from him, from the situation. And so I began to do a lot of work on myself, and it took me a while to really understand why I couldn't forgive him and why I was holding on to all these emotions. So at around 22 years old, I found the true name of our Creator, Yahweh, Elohim, and His Son, Yahshua. And that became really freeing for me because, I was in religion for so long. And actually, before I even got into Yahweh, Elohim, and Yahshua, discovered who He was through Yahshua University, I began to come out of the church a lot. Like, I stopped going to church. I could not stand going. And I didn't know why, but I feel like Yahweh was preparing me to receive Him and His true name and His true Son's name, Yahshua. So between the ages of 22 and now, present day, I just turned 32, Yahweh has worked in my life, and He's shown me that forgiveness isn't for the other person, right? It's for you. Because when you hold on to unforgiveness, when you hold on to those emotions, you can't leave room for anything else. You can't leave room for happiness and peace and love. And those things are poisoning you. They're poisoning your spirit. And it really affects your relationship that you have with others and Yahweh. So I was reading in Ephesians 4:32, Yahweh says, and be kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Yahweh, for Yahshua, the true Messiah's sake, has forgiven you. Yahweh has forgiven us, so why can't we forgive others? Right? Can you imagine you making mistakes, being really sorry about it and want forgiveness, and someone refused to give you forgiveness? They walk in that light of the mistake that you made. They hold on to that. I know I wouldn't want someone not to forgive me. So I began to release that unforgiveness, and I forgave my father. And, there's not a day that goes by that I don't wonder how different my life would be if he was there, if he kept those promises. But all I know is, we all go through things in life. And the biggest thing that we can do for yourself is to forgive, is to be positive, is to choose happiness, to choose love, to choose to be tenderhearted towards one another, because there's always going to be pain. There's always going to be things that happen to us in life and that we can't control. But I can control me. I can control how I allow those things to affect me. And forgiveness is so key to all of that. Forgiveness and letting go and staying positive. Those are the things that help me move on and have a more fulfilling life. And that has helped me throughout my life. It has helped me get over things much faster. It has helped me to release and let it all to Yahweh. And I tell you, he will take care of it for you, So I hope this helps someone. I hope that if you haven't forgiven someone, it could be the smallest thing you don't even realize, but look into yourself and see, hey, have I really truly forgiven people's trespasses against me? So I love you guys. I thank Yahweh, Elohim, and Yahshua for this opportunity, and I hope that this helps someone. Shalom.